Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for week 4 of Living the Dream. And today we're going to be talking about the role that other people's dreams play in helping us realize God's dreams for our own lives. It's going to be really great, and it kind of got me thinking about the role that other people play in our lives and how they help us. And I started thinking about inspirational movies, and you see people come alongside others. And I'm not necessarily a real big inspirational movie person. I like Avengers, and I like things blowing up and things funny, and that's more my kind of style. But if I ever do sit down and watch an inspirational movie, I am guaranteed to cry. Like, I am just a movie crier. And my wife gives me a hard time because I cry a lot more than she does. And in fact, there's one moment that she really gives me a hard time for. I cried not in an actual movie, but during the preview to The Pursuit of Happiness. The movie with Will Smith, and he's raising his son, and he's on hard times. Man, the preview just really got to me, all right? He's standing there on the fence, and he's looking at his son, and he says, don't you ever let anybody tell you you can't do anything, not even me. And man, it just got me. I was like, he's such a good daddy, Oh man, it was a great moment. It was inspirational. And those inspirational moments make us feel something and feel something special. So why don't you guys take a few minutes and just go around, share your favorite inspirational movies and why you love them so much.
And what's interesting is I'm sure Joseph felt like being put in prison was a setback, but it was actually a setup. I know it sounds crazy. How can being in a prison be a setup instead of a setback? It sure felt like a setback, I'm sure, to him. I'm sure he felt like he was further away from God's dream for his life than he had ever been, but in actuality, he was closer to God's dream than he had ever been before. In looking at the whole picture, him being there in prison, in proximity to Pharaoh, the king, he was actually closer to the original dream that God had given him. He didn't necessarily see it, didn't always know it, but he was actually closer. Here's what I want to ask you today. Where is God's presence in your circumstances now? Is he there? Not only is he there, let me ask you this. Where is his steadfast love? How has he shown that steadfast love to you? Well, look at Joseph's life. We see a pattern. Here's the pattern we see. There's a lot of patterns. Here's one of them. He's in the pasture. He's first the shepherd under his father. Under his father, he's a shepherd. That's what we see him doing. Under the authority and leadership of his father, he's herding sheep in the pasture early in his life, when he's about 17 years old. Then secondly, we see something else. We see he's an overseer over Potiphar's house. Once he's sold into slavery, quickly he rises to second in command only under Potiphar, meaning whatever he said went in the house. He's the leader besides the man of the house, Potiphar. Then we see a third aspect of this. He's in charge now of the prison under the prison keeper. So you see the pattern? Everywhere he goes, he ends up number 2. Wherever he goes, he surpasses everyone that's been before him. Do you have somebody like this at work? They came in and it's like, and maybe the person's you, like they came in and then all of a sudden they just elevate them and it's just like they advance. You know this person. There's people in your life that they just, wherever they go, it's like cream. It just rises to the top leadership-wise and they just have favor. And they end up in second in command. And this is what we see, this pattern in Joseph. Now he's second in command, preparing him for his eventual role that we'll talk about next week under Pharaoh as second in command under Pharaoh, which is the fourth aspect of this pattern. So think about this for a moment. What's happening here? Here's what's happening. Joseph is in school. He's in training. He's being prepared. He's learning authority. He's learning management. He's learning leadership and when the stakes are low and when everything's low on the pasture, and then it elevates a little bit. He's in a house, and in the house, he learns how to manage a house. Then he's over a prison, over all the prisoners, and he learns how to manage a prison. Eventually, he's gonna be over an entire kingdom. What's happening? God is preparing him for something bigger.
I told you not to follow your dreams. But that's only because mine, they never came true. But you're not me. You're not like me. You have a gift. Real gift. I want to take care of your part. God sent me for you, bird. Here. I never made much money, but I have my life insurance, and I tried to save everything I could. And I want you to have that, so you can pay attention to your singing. And you'll get a check every month, so you can go chase your dream. And I want you to catch it. Don't you ever look back. You promise?
Third thing we see God doing in this text is we see that God calls Joseph to serve the dreams of others. Now, this is my favorite because I think the story of the baker and the cupbearer are so interesting. Joseph is babysitting these guys. He's assigned to them. These are privileged guys that came from the king's palace. They don't feel like it's right that they're in prison. They're worried for their lives, and here Joseph gets assigned to them. They're haunted by their dreams. And as they share them with Joseph, Joseph had the opportunity to be one of two ways. He had the opportunity, number one, to be resentful. Everyone say resentful. Good luck. Good luck, man. I had a dream too. See where that got me? I had a dream. It got me into a pit. My brothers sold me out, got me into prison. Here I am, living the dream as the prison keeper's number 2 guy. I had a dream as well. Good luck figuring out your own dream. Kind of the way Bart in the clip from I Can Only Imagine that we saw just a moment ago, his dad was. He was so bitter and resentful that his dreams never came true. He could have decided he wasn't going to help or serve anybody else's dream. But instead, he decides, no, he's going to use the things that he's learned and grown through to serve someone else's dream. See, you can either be resentful or you can serve. Everyone say serve. Acknowledging. Joseph acknowledges God's the one who interprets dreams, but I will serve him and I'll serve you. Tell me what your dream is. He doesn't fill him with resentment and bitterness. No. He wants to know and he wants to help because he's faithful where he's at. Ultimately, Joseph's dream would be fulfilled in part because of the cupbearer himself. But often we don't get the connection that in serving other people's dreams, we actually are drawing closer to God's dream for our lives.
I hope you guys had a really good discussion, and I hope you'll join us next week as we look at how God uses different circumstances, good and bad, to fulfill his dream for our lives. It's gonna be really great. And as always, I just wanna invite you, if you've never been to a service at Mid-Cities, I'd love for you to come, join us at Neely campus, join us at the 191 campus. We'd really love to see you there and to worship with you. It'll be really great. As we close today, we've been talking about the role that other people play in our lives. And Ecclesiastes 4 actually talks about that we are stronger together, that it's more difficult to break us apart when we're together. We can do more together. And so today, I really just want us to come together and to pray for the things that are on our hearts. And so take a few minutes, go around the room, and just share what's on your heart. And I would encourage you, I know some of that's easier for some of us and more difficult for others. I would encourage you just to be open about what's going on, what are the circumstances in your heart, in your life that you need prayer for, because we want to come around you and pray for you. And like Ecclesiastes said, we'll be stronger together. So take a few minutes, share some of those things that are going on in your life that you need prayer for, and let's pray for each other. And then we'll see you back next week.